Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz, February 15, 2017, 12:47 a.m. in Birmingham. Topic: don't be caught embarrassed. That will have a meaning at the end. Let me tell you what's going on now. And this is in China. Human pig chimeras have been created by using pigs and human DNA. And a lot of it, they said 1,000 part, but that's not true, because they said 1 in 1,000, or get this, mostly human, and will have human cells and human brains with thinking abilities. This is in a pig now. Can't you see that pig telling the other guy, man, you so nasty, get your nose out of the ground? I mean, but they said it. Human pig chimeras that they have, they're pretty heavy on them. They got a lot of them, according to them, because they said 1 out of 1,000. That means they have at least 1,000. 1,000 tons of food each week. 1,000 tons each week is thrown away in England alone. In England, 88 million tons from France each year. Every person in all of Europe could be fed 9 times over with that food. Keep in mind, there's a lot of people that do not have a meal going to bed at night. A lot of children go to bed hungry. Okay, huge protest all over Europe, and we know who they are. They're the Muslim world. Women and girls being attacked in most every European and country and into Russia. Riots in Lebanon, Shia versus Sunni. I mean, there's no stopping. Iran launched another ballistic missile. And even with sanctions and threats, they are ignored. They continue. And we do have a ship, if I'm not mistaken, it's USS Ford. I may be wrong, but I believe that's it. Out there, not too far from Iran, just kind of watching. They have the ability to take it down anytime they want to. I just want you to know that. We do. Sudan fighting government versus terrorist. And then fighting just to be fighting. Sudan has become worse than Syria. Let me tell you about what's going on in Sudan. The UN said today, every 10 minutes, a child in Yemen, well, Sudan and Yemen, a child in Yemen dies every 10 minutes. All the food wasted in Europe alone could save every child. No heating in many places in all this land that the fighting is going on. You know, I'm talking about Syria, and I'm talking about Lebanon, I'm talking about Yemen and Sudan, and all these other places, in Libya. And, you know, there's no heat, there's no utilities, but the fighting continues. Aid, they cannot get aid in because aid is blown out of the sky. Children are saying that every time they hear an airplane, their blood runs cold and they are terrified and they have to run and hide. There has been many hospitals and schools that had bombs dropped on them and they're destroyed. This is in Sudan. There are more refugees in Yemen than in Syria. Everyone look past the Trump headlines. Please, you're missing what's really happening worldwide. And soon it will be a post-world the way it's going. And that is why we are headed toward a new world order, this fighting with no food, no meds, no shelter, no water, no stopping of the hundreds of wars in Europe, the Middle East, in Africa, South America, Central America, and in Mexico. And we're talking about Central America, Mexico, trafficking of girls as slaves, and the drug trade. And further down in South America, you know what's happened since the self-imposed dictator died in Venezuela. So problems there. They just blown out. I mean, they can't handle it. Fires are burning. I mean, all over the mountains from Chile down. I mean, houses that you think are sitting on rocks against mountains, they're burning down. It's been a 10-year drought in that area. The fires keep going, and there are 7 nations fighting those fires. And I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to. And in the United States, it is foolish by people who are paid by sorrels that pound the pavement daily. And damn you, don't let one evil man control you, because that one evil man is controlled by Satan. Think about that, y'all. Think about all you Trump protesters. And if you ask 20, and I said that the other night, you get 20 different reasons why. So no one really knows. They're just being paid for it, and they're doing it. We have a reprieve right now with Donald Trump, as I mentioned in the last blog. And you better believe that the Bible verses Isaiah 5:20, chapter 5, verse 20, it says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." This is going on in our country right now against our new president. Just as I read it. You who march, riot against Trump, are fulfilling the prophecy or the verse Isaiah chapter 5 verse 20. You're fulfilling that verse right now. I want you to know that. So you are part of prophecy by what you're doing against a newly elected president. And it is very dangerous for all of you who do this. It's all wrong. It's all backwards. You're blinded by money and by lies. You believe a lie and you stand against the truth. Wake up. Again, the Bible says, and I'll wrap it up here in a second, in Luke 12:20 in the King James Version, "But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of." He said that. Luke 12:20, God said, "Thou fool, tonight I will require his soul." Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided? If you are already saved, I want to say this on the part of you who are saved. If you are already saved and you die in the midst of your fight against that is good, that you look at as bad, going back to the Luke verse, Isaiah 5:20, if you go back there, if you're fighting against that you look at as bad, but it is of good, will you be condemned? If you're dropping dead during this protest, during this fight, against Trump, if you drop dead and you're saved, what will happen to you in the midst of your great sin? That is a sin, what you're doing. Well, you're not going to go to hell. You're saved. Once you're saved, you are saved. God will call you home before he'll let you lose your salvation. But there's one thing to think about. Do you want to get caught dropping dead? Because you'll never die. When you hit the pavement, your eyes opens in paradise. But who do you see when your eyes open? You see Christ. Do you want to be caught, embarrassed in the process of a marching against a man that you know nothing about, and for a man that has paid you to do so? That's putting light in place of darkness. And you're doing it in the dark. It's light outside, but you're doing it in the dark. So I want you to understand that. You won't be condemned. You're already saved. But do you want to be caught embarrassed by God? No. I hope you care enough to say, no, I don't. All the above, except what I just gave you from Luke 20 down, are excerpts out of the RT News posted January 21 or 31, 2017. Jody Wolf, Expoz.